Here's Mauricio Cano talking to you. First time here, actually, in English, talking to the world. Usually, our conversations here or live interviews were in Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese to Brazilian public. Hello, Henrique. How are you? Let's try to put you in. Geralmente a gente tem feito as lives em português anteriormente, mas essa aqui vai ser em inglês, tá? So please, I hope you English speakers can understand, and Brazilians also. Hi there, Henrique.
Hello, how's it going? よろしくお願いします。
よろしく。こんばんは、Henrique さん。
こんばんは。
日本の名前がありますか？
片平義之と申します。片平演劇義之と申します。
そう
よろしくお願いします。
そうか。意味は何ですか？ What's the meaning of your Japanese name?
Well, my family name, Katahira, is the first kanji is kata as for katakana and hira as for hiragana. But it's like, it's just a name, just, you know.
Yeah, because, for example, my name, my Japanese surname would be like a field, yeah, Kanno, like no is a very common kanji for family names in Japan, for like fields, green fields, meadows, and my kan would be like, well, for a specific kind of plants, green field. Anyway, similar to the kanji of famous Yoko Ono, yeah, Ono Yoko,
Yeah.
from Beatles.
No,
Yeah.
Hara no no.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's go. Welcome everybody who are watching now and who going to watch later, recorded this live interview. So thank you very much for accepting this invitation to talk to me at this channel, Japonês Criativo in Portuguese, or Creative Japanese, as I'm starting to direct this channel little by little to world public, worldwide. I'm actually a journalist. Previously, I worked at major newspapers in Brazil, like Folha de São Paulo, and now I've been working teaching Japanese language and culture. So please tell us a bit about your experience with Japanese and in Japan.
Mauricio, many thanks to have me here. So I'm Henrique Katahira, and I was born in São Paulo, Brazil, and I lived in Japan for 10 years in total, and for two different opportunities. First one was between 1992 and 1994. I was 16 years old, and then I went to Japan with my family to work as a dekasegui. Dekasegui is a Japanese word that combines two kanjis, de, which is from go out or to leave, and kasegi or kasegu, that means to earn money. So it's a common word for people that leave their hometowns to go to the urban area to have a job and earn money, and then the dekasegui people usually go back to their own hometown, and the dekasegui phenomenon.
And this work was in factories.
Yeah.
For example, in my case, about 20 years ago, it was my first experience in Japan. Also, I worked at Honda and Suzuki for building cars.
Yeah, yeah, it was like a similar experience. I used to work in factories, like very simple job, very like hand uh, physical job. And I was there with my family, my dad, my mom, and my brothers. And I couldn't have much opportunity to learn Japanese because at that time the the goal the goal was dekasegui, actually, to go there, earn some money, and travel a little bit, do some shopping, and learn a little bit about the culture. But the working hours are like very um, very hard. We used to work like 10, 12 hours a day, sometimes Saturdays. So it was a good experience, but I couldn't enjoy much the Japanese culture. And then, like 10 years later, I had another opportunity to go to Japan, and it was for um, work as a systems engineer. Um, Actually, I was working in the IT field, and I used to work for a company that creates um, uh, a tool for recruitment services, and I was doing some research, trying to learn if other tools, other sites also could work, or how it works. So I registered my resume in many websites at that moment, and then I realized that one of them worked. So I had a phone call from a guy, uh, representative in Brazil, and she asked me if I wanted to have an interview in Japanese, and I say yes. But at that time, my Japanese was like really crap, and I don't know how I had the courage to say yes at that moment. And then I just hang out the phone and call my mom and say, "Mom, I have an interview in Japanese tonight. In Japanese, please help me." And then I called many friends who've been there in Japan for like scholarships, and asked for tips, for help, for like smart phrases and vocabularies. And the interview went well. And for 40 days later, I was embarking to Tokyo.
Wow. And I suppose you learned a lot after that, yeah? Um, but how was the adaptation in a so different country as because you were well, you worked as dekasegui before, but later
Mhm.
was a completely different experience, I suppose.
Yeah, right. So it was a completely different experience because I used to live in a rural area, working on factories, in an environment with lots of Brazilian workers. So I couldn't, I didn't have many chance to interact with in Japanese because it was so easy to have to hang out with Brazilian friends. And then
Mm.
when I was when I went there, um, the first place I lived was in a place what the Japanese call guest house, or in today's vocabulary, it will be a co-living or something like that. So it was a place